Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. I want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional unceded territory of the Upper Similkameen Indian Band. Can we get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Gould, seconder. Councillor Willis. Any additions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. No minutes, no petitions, no unfinished business. Staff report, 2021 financial plan, bylaw amendment number 2. James.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is the adoption of the bylaw amendment that's already been passed for 3 readings. Essentially, this amendment removes sorry, just find my notes here. Yes. So it removes a fountain that was due to be funded out of COVID renewal funds that we were denied the grant for. It amends a source of funds for campground improvements. So we received an additional grant, and we're waiting for additional funding to come through a federal source for improving the campground improvements, essentially rebuilding the washrooms at the campground. And the main reason for amending the financial plan was to begin the construction for some source wells due to the number of water restrictions we've had in a very, very hot summer. It was deemed an immediate project, so we amended the financial plan for that. So those are the 3 points. We went through a public consultation process over the last 2 weeks. We received one submission in the form of a question, which was answered by our CAO. Basically asking what the source of funds was for the campground, which was already in the bylaw, but we answered it. So we asked council to pass the amendment.
Any questions of James? Okay, motion to
So moved.
adopt. Thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor.
Councillor Elliott, seconded. Councillor Gould. Questions? Comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. New source water well and filtration study. Jared, do you want to talk about that?
Yes.
Turn your mic on. There you go.
So as previously presented to council, we need another source water well site. Our town's growing, and we're having a very hard time keeping up with demand. Our system's kind of lacking at this time. So I'm asking, the first step in this process is to have a filtration and bacteriological study done. This is it's requested by Interior Health. The filtration study is due to the proximity to the river, so it's kind of a little bit more detailed. It's a little more costly than what was in the previous presentation. So I would like to ask council to award Western Water. So they previously helped us with the well force site when it was first constructed, and in 2016 they did some more study. Because it was we were going to look at a new well at that time as well. So they have very vast knowledge of that area.
So by going with these guys, we'll cut the time limit or the time span in half, and it should be cheap. Shouldn't cost more because we're not hiring another company to come in and do a whole bunch of same work that they already did.
A lot of the legwork is done already
Okay.
by that company.
Perfect. Any questions, Jared? Randy?
Is that the only company available?
There are a few other ones out there. Just these guys have done a lot of work in that area already and have actual reports.
It's just, do we have to go through a usual tender thing, or?
I didn't think so with this one. It's been a company that's been used quite consistently.
And I suppose the other side of that is that by getting it done quickly, we're going to save time and money and that sort of thing. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Single source are permitted under our purchasing policy based on emergency use. So.
Excuse me?
Sorry. Single source provisions are allowed under emergency use provisions.
Yep.
So it would be difficult to argue that that another source well, given our summertime water usage and problems that we're having, this isn't an emergency situation. So.
Perfect.
Any other questions? Somebody make the recommended motion?
So moved.
Councillor Elliott, second. Councillor McLean. Any further questions or comments? Councillor Gould.
Sorry, just a comment in regards to this, also looking at a potential second site.
Right, that's correct. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, so there's a site in the North Princeton side at Achievement. I would like to actually do the same process, drill a test well, and have a yield test done on that, so that site could be ready for the future. Doesn't have to be developed right away. It could be, 3 to 5 years from now, but just as long as it's ready to go.
Thank you.
Any questions on that?
So the point of that is that when they're in doing the one well that we want, then
We'll get it two done at the same time.
Perfect.
They don't have to come back and.
we're
Yeah.
gonna save money in the long
Yeah.
run. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, all in favor? Yeah, carried. And the last thing on our agenda today is we have to go back to stage 3 water and restrictions. We've been having a hard time keeping up with demand again. A couple of our reservoirs have been dangerously low. Also, we've entered into level 3 drought by the province. And so combined with that situation, we need to go back to stage 3 water restrictions. I guess that's about wraps it up.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Does anybody have any questions on that? So the motion that we've got here would go back to stage 3, but then it would also designate the CAO or his designate to be able to go between levels if we have to, so we don't have to keep coming back and having a meeting every time we need to change the water levels.
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Willis. Seconder,
I'll second.
Councilor Gould. Any questions?
Would there be any possibility if the rain that is scheduled to come this, whatever, I mean, believe me, it's not very much according to what they're predicting, but would that have any effect on our,
I mean, if it had a drastic effect on our ability to keep up, then yeah. Right now we're running below 70%, I believe,
That's correct.
in our reservoirs, and the wells are running just about 24 hours a day right now, trying to replenish, and it's taking all day to replenish. We were down to 49%, and it took all day to get it back to 70. So it's usually in the daytime we have the reprieve because not everybody's using the water, and it's able to recover, but it's not recovering right now. So just because of the amount of pull from the system. So everybody will be getting one of these in the mail after this vote. It's already, and then these will be, anybody who's still watering after the fact will receive one of these on their door from Public Works, and then follow up possibly from the bylaw. So, okay, question, yeah?
With the commercial metering being done, have we noticed an increase in usage too? Is that possibly another reason?
Not quite yet. The numbers are still coming in, so people are still receiving only a certain amount of people who got it done in the beginning are actually receiving bills for metered water.
Okay.
So a lot of people aren't seeing what they're using as of yet.
Okay, so we don't have a measuring stick
No.
yet.
No, next year we'll know exactly. But
Excellent. Thank you.
okay, any other questions?
I just want to make everyone aware that I figured out where the switch is from
It's good, because I didn't want one of these on your door. Okay, all in favor? Carried, thank you. And that brings us to adjournment. Motion to adjourn. Thank you, Councilor Willis. Seconder, Councilor Elliott. All in favor? Carried, thank you. So the good news is we will have this education piece out, so every household in the community will have this, and there won't be any reason for people to say they don't know. It'll also be on our website. It'll be on our social media platform. It'll be on the bulletin board down in front of the post office, and the signs are going back up today as well. So there shouldn't be anybody saying, I didn't know this time around. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.